Hi guys, so we've got some new things from Rise of the Duelist that I want to try out in my Speedroid deck profile, so we're just going to get through it for you. So we'll just get right into it. So starting off with the notorious rank 3 maker, Speedroid Terra Top. So while you may know him to be basically Make Dante or Make a Link 2, in the actual Speedroids, he's a rotor for any Speedroid.
Or MX Saber Invoker.
Or MX Saber Invoker. But yeah, he's pretty good. Kind of wish he was at 3. But I guess that Konami were gracious enough to give us another consistency card in terms of Speedroid, Marble Machine. So we play 3 of it. It Stratos for Speedroid. Once normal summon, add a Speedroid from your deck to your hand, but then you can only special summon wins for the rest of the turn. It just sort of happens. Following up, we have our best extender being triple Tagatomborg.
It can be played at more than one?
Yes, he's surprisingly not a brick in this. So think of him as, I guess, he's Terra Top's partner in crime, I guess. So you can special summon if you control a wind monster. You can only special summon him this way. You can only special summon one Tagatomborg per turn. Then also you contribute it to special summon a Speedroid tuner from your deck. That effect isn't a once per turn, which I found out because I was able to normal summon Tagatomborg a couple times, and you just keep doing it. It's pretty great.
It has another effect.
Yes, it's impressive. He's not just a Garnet apparently. Then we move on. So I guess now we're going to move on to some of our tuners. So we have the let's just put you over here, on top of you, friends. So the best tuner, in my opinion, is triple Speedroid Dun Dun Daiko Duke. Try saying that 3 times fast. So you can banish it from your graveyard, special summon a Speedroid tuner from your graveyard or your hand, which is pretty good. It's a once per turn effect, but this is how you recycle some of your other tuners, and that's why you're going to play them at 3. Coming out from Rise of the Duels, we have 2 of the Speedroid card Turbo. So if you control a wind monster, you can special summon from your hand, but then you can't only special summon monsters for wind. It's a pretty standard fare. It's just another free body, being a level 3 tuner. And also you can banish it and the Speedroid monster from your graveyard to make, I believe, all Speedroid monsters you control gain 800 attack? All wind monsters you control gain 800 attack to the end of the turn, so a bit more battle damage, which is quite nice. You can probably play it at 3. I'm trying it at 2 for now because the Daiko Duke can recycle it, and while it is a nice extender, it's a hard once per turn. And then the last sort of Speedroid tuner we play is the 1 red-eyed dice. One is normal special summon. You can target one Speedroid monster you control except itself, and you can make it level between 1 and 6. So this is how you get into some more of your other synchro plays. We only play 1 because surprisingly enough, it's weird. It's kind of bricky. It's nice to have the 1 just if you have to get through awkward levels, but typically your level 3s will get you there.
Plus, Duke can just bring him back.
Yeah, pretty much. So that's it for like sort of those guys, sort of the better Speedroids. We play for the ones 1 Horse Stilts and 1 double yo-yo. We only play 1 of each of them because typically throughout many of your combos and things, you don't really want to open them. You can search them through the rubber band shooter, which we'll go through in a little bit, and they have like sort of like similar effects. This special summon, when it's normal summoned, you can special summon Speedroid from your hand, and when this is normal summon, you can special summon a level 3 or lower Speedroid from your graveyard. This one is surprisingly is not once per turn, but we're never really going to use it. It's more for your later on games if you get to that stage. And Horse Stilt's other effect. If it's in your graveyard, except the turn it's been sent there, you can banish it to send a wind monster from your deck to your grave. So it'd be nice to send something like maybe your one-eyed red-eyed dice or some of the other things we're playing in the deck. I would advise still playing them each at 1. So for the other sort of engine we play 3 of the Battlewasp Sting the Poison and 1 Pin the Bullseye. This is here to help us make our rubber band shooter. So when Sting is normal special summon, you can add 1 Battlewasp monster from your deck to your hand. Also, it has a negation effect. If you tribute another, you can tribute another insect monster as a quick effect to negate a monster effect on the field until the end of the turn. That actually can come up with one of the cards in our extra deck, so that's pretty good. And then Pin is just the one you search off of it. It's just if you control an insect monster, you can special summon it, so it's 2 free wins on board. And also, during the main phase, you can inflict 200 damage for each Battlewasp monster you control, so that's a little bit of like nice little burn damage as well.
Game 3.
Game 3, yeah, it's gonna be good. The other card from Rise of the Duels, which helps you out quite a lot, is triple Wind the Wind Channeler. Basically, you can discard it another win to add a win monster with 1500 or less defense from your deck to your hand, but then you can only activate win monsters for effects for the rest of that turn, which is pretty good. It's just pretty much like, if you were to go through most of this, pretty much everything here has lower than 1500 defense, so it's just an added consistency boost. This in any wind is always Terra Top, which is quite nice as well. You definitely want to play 3 of it. It's just added consistency. And until, I mean, maybe if they brought Terra Top back to 3, it's never going to happen. But if they did, you might want to cut it. But so far now, it's been really good. Because of sort of synergy and things, and it's good because Wind Machine. We play the 1 Mecha Phantom Beast O-Lion and the 1 Mecha Phantom Beast Warberland. There we go. Should have practiced that before. So you all know what O-Line does. It's just nice because it's wind tuner, and it can be a really cool. Even if you draw it, it's a wind monster, so you can special summon quite a few of your guys, like your Takata Borg or your Guard Turbo. And if you discard it off wind, it's a pretty good thing. It's just there for part of the combo, and Warberlin is also just there because it also generates a token. But only if it's used for the sync of a wind machine monster, and we have of a machine monster, which we have quite a few. It's just another target to summon off the Auroradon, which you play in the extra. So we also play 2 Hop-Eared Squadron. So it basically allows you to synchro summon with a monster during your opponent's turn. It's pretty. I just thought I'd try it out because it's a wind. It allows things for, like, if you haven't opened quite optimally. So, for example, like, say if you had a Crystal Wing and you use this effect, you could synchro with the Crystal Wing into a card I'll show into the extra deck a little bit later. Or if you had like 6, you can turn this and that into a Crystal Wing during your opponent's turn to add a little bit more disruption. I've been playing it at 2. I might bump it up, seeing how it goes, but so far it's been alright. And for the last monster we play is 3 copies of Droll and Lockbird. Ideally, I thought for hand traps, there's loads you could probably pick from, and you can probably change it around the way you like. But I thought Droll would be nice because in the format there's things like Dogmatic Invoked, and there will be the Infernoble Knights, which do quite a bit of searching, which will help slow them down a bit. And being a wind, it's searchable through the wind channeler, and also it's just a free discard for that if you don't need it. So you could also play things like Moonlight Chill, since it's also a wind.
It's not searchable though, is it?
It's not searchable, but it's just nice to have a wind and things. So moving on to our spells, right lineup, we play 3 Speed Recovery. It is Monster Reborn for Speedroids. That isn't a hard once per turn. So yeah, that's pretty good. And also, you can banish from the graveyard except the turn's been sent to the graveyard to add a Speedroid back, so it's a nice little bit of recursion. We play 2 Speed Lift. If you control exactly 1 tuner and no other monsters, you can special summon a level 4 lower Speedroid monster from your deck. Neither player can activate cards or effects when that monster is special summoned. That sounds like it'd be great, wouldn't it? Turns out, when you it's like you can dig the Terra Top out of your deck, but then, since it's special summoned, you can activate its own effect. But it's nice to just get out some bodies, and because it's not a once per turn, you can, if you have one, you can chain both of them if you open them. So gets out. Then we play 3 Called by the Graves because hand traps. 1 Upstart because 39 cards. 1 Reasoning because, well, you do play a fairly different amount of levels, and at worst, if they get a guy in your grave, if they get like a Duke in your grave or something, it's not the end of the world. And the 1 Pot of Avarice to shuffle everything back if we need it. And that's the main deck. Right, for the extra deck, so we play 2 of the High Speed Rubber Band Shooter. It's, despite my slight complaints, it's a really good card. So during your main phase, you can immediately, after this effect, resolve normal summon the Speedroid, so it grants you additional normal summon. However, then you're locked into synchro monsters from your extra deck for the rest of the turn. And its second effect is that you can banish a wind synchro from your extra deck, reveal 2 monsters whose levels combine to make that level, and then your opponent either randomly choose one to be added to your hand, and the other one gets sent to the graveyard. The RNG factor makes it a bit annoying, but either way, it's a search. I'm considering playing it at 1 because, to be fair, I don't remember making it more than once. And also, if you need to recur, you can do things like your Speed Recovery, or there's the Avarice and things, but so far I'll try it with that. And we play the Auroradon because it's Wind Machine, and we're all Wind Machines, and you all probably know what it does already. It's just helpful.
What are your targets for the rubber banishes are usually?
So typically it would be things like I would banish something like one of my Wind Synchro, say level 7, which will go with like Fast Dragon. I probably wouldn't banish Fast Dragon, but we'll see. So you do that, and you try to get something like, if you needed with it, you'd get your probably your double yo-yo and your Terratop. This is the ideal thing because realistically, no matter which one you get, you're either getting a search with this, or if you get this, you can bring this back from your graveyard to get 2 bodies and a search. So ideally this is something you'd probably go for, or you might want to banish a 6 to get something like your, if you need an extender, and you say if you haven't used your Takatomborg that turn, or if you have or if you want the card turbo. Again, like, it's just getting free extenders. Those level 6 and 7 is probably the most ideal thing you're going to be banishing. So yeah, those can go over here. So moving on, I guess, to the rest of the Speedroids. We play the 1 Chambar, the 1 Hagoita, and the 1 Kite Drake. Chambar is just your OTK machine. He attacks twice and gains 200 attack each time. And also, for Sense Graveyard, you can add a banished Speedroid from your, well, back to hand, so that's pretty cool. Hagoita is actually really important because, during, well, its first effect you rarely come up with. During either player's phase, you contribute it to increase the levels of all monsters you control by 1, which is nice for modulation, but the other effect is that if you control Speedroid tuner while it's in your graveyard, you can special summon it back. So that's just really nice to doing it, and that's sort of how you do, like, get things like your double Crystal Wing. And Kite Drake is a really good card. It almost makes me want to blind second because it's just so good. So when you synchro summon it, you can activate one of its effects. You can either destroy all other cards on the field or negate all cards your opponent controls, which is pretty good. And if it dies, you can add a Speedroid monster from your deck to your hand. It's just a really good form of interruption. Ideally, you can do something like, if you can get a 7 on board in this, because it requires a Wind Machine tuner. One of the things I want to try to do on my opponent's turn, if you get it, is using something like either the O-Lion or where is it? The other Mecha Phantom Beast dude, which should be here, and Warpton. Because ideally what you can do is, if you synchro summon using either of these into it, you can put this as Chainlink 1 and these as Chainlink 2, so you can pretty much hopefully avoid them doing anything to it, and you can guarantee wiping them or negating their cards. So those are 3 ones. We play the Metal Marcher because Metal Marcher is good. Bringing back your tuners is nice, and it's a Wind Machine, so there's synergy there. We play the Raptite just because it's a wind, and you play a lot of wind monsters, so its effect as a DD Crow on your opponent's turn will come up. You could probably replace it with the Kendama, which is another Speedroid which burns for 500. By banishing a machine from your graveyard, and if you control a monster, special summon from your graveyard, you can only normal summon that turn. But I think Raptite is probably a bit better in these kind of things because the DD Crow effect is going to be kind of useful. We play the Old Entity Hastor, which is more of a going second option. If it sends from the monster zone to the graveyard, you can target one monster your opponent controls, equip it to it, it's effects negated, and it can't attack. And if this is destroyed, and from the spell and trap zone sent to the graveyard, you can take control of that monster, so it's quite nice in that sense. Our level 7s, we play 1 Clearing Fast Dragon and 1 Wind Pegasus Administer. Fast Dragon is pretty much kind of like one of the main things for Speedroids. It's just negate a monster from the extra deck as a quick effect. And also, if it's when it's destroyed, and it goes to a pendulum scale. And then what you can do is, if it's in your scale, you contribute a Speedroid tuner and non-tuners that come up to level 7 and special summon it back. So that's quite nice recursion. And one Pegasus is just here for the removal of back row, non-targeting, and also just the little protection. If something's destroyed, you can banish it to back in.
What's the pendulum skill of the main deck monster? Can you actually pendulum summon?
The Speedroids have a lot of pendulum monsters, but they're not particularly good. I think
the one you're playing.
I think he's. I want to say he's 1. It's 1 and 4, so you could special summon 2 and 3 if you really wanted to. It is pretty cool.
Let me know if that ever comes up.
We will. If you want to see me playing Speedroids at some point, feel free, but we'll go for it. Then we go for the actual reason why this deck is pretty good, of Crystal Wings, double of them. You know what Crystal Wing does? He negates monster effects, and if it battles level 5 or higher monster, you can just gain its attack. This is good. You will pretty much always end with double Crystal Wing. I can probably show you a combo, 2-card combo that ends you with double Crystal Wing. I really wish we sometimes could do more than double Crystal Wing, but you probably shouldn't complain that much. And then we play the 1 Satellite Warrior because it's a cool blowout card again. And this is what we want to try with. We want to turn this, and where's our little friend? Come on, where are you at? So this is the ideal thing. After you burn your Crystal Wing with negate, you can use a Hopier, synchro with these two into the Satellite Warrior, and typically to get to your even with the 1-card combo, you still probably have like 2 synchros in grave, so that's at least 2 pops.
So you'll have at least 2 with the Crystal Wing and whatever you use to make Crystal Wing.
Yeah, pretty much. So so hopefully we'll get to pull it off a bit more.
Presumably, if you've made the double Crystal Wing, you'll at least have the other thing that's made the other Crystal Wing as well.
Yeah. Well, and then the one Xyz we play is the number 3 Cicada King. It's really weird because it's a pretty cool card. So if the battle positions cards change, you can special 1 insect monster from your hand or graveyard in defense position. So that's part of the cool thing with Sting the Poison. So you can bring it back, and you can do this on your opponent's turn because like when a monster on field activates effect, you can detach material from this card, target that monster, and negate its effects. Then make 1 insect monster on field either gain 500 defense or change its battle position. So it's a monster to negate because it's direct on your opponent's turn. So you can do something like, especially if you used Sting. So if I just find him. Where are you, my friend? There we go, Sting.
Oh, so you detach to negate, change its battle position.
So, yeah, so like while Sting is level 2, you probably will have, if you made it to level 3, so you might have used it in a combo. So you detach, negate, special summon back Sting, and then Sting contribute off the Cicada King to then negate another card. So that's a pretty cool interaction you can do. Yeah. And that's it for the main deck, really.
So we'll get into the combo now.
Right, so I'm just going to show you technically it's 3 cards, but this will search either one of the ones you need. So let's say with these 2.
A 2-card combo.
2-card combo.
Minimum machines,
yeah. So you can Marble Machine, say if you open these 2, you Marble Machine to get the missing piece, which in this case, let's say is the Takatomborg. Since you control one monster, you can special summon this. Since you control one monster, you can special summon this. You can then tribute this to special summon out the Daiko Duke. You then synchro this and the Daiko Duke into the Hogwarts. You can then synchro these into Crystal Wing. You can then banish the Daiko Duke, special summon the card Turbo because you control its Speedroid Tuner, special summon Hogwarts, synchro these off, and then you have your second Crystal Wing. Pretty simple. So that was my Speedroid deck. I've been playing this deck for around a few years now, and it's been always getting nice little support and things. The sort of issue I find is like Rubber Band Shooter is great. There's just a level of RNG involved, which isn't always ideal for like sort of set combos and things. And I sort of wish we had maybe a bit more versatility in the extra deck. Because Crystal Wing is nice as a monster negate, but with maybe some form of interaction in terms of like spells and traps, or even like bouncing and things. I think there's the Harpy Scratch Claw that comes out, which could be possibly very useful. So that was the only 1-card double Crystal Wing combo I showed you. There probably are a bit more, but they all sort of rely a bit more on the RNG of Rubber Band Shooter and things. So what we might do is we'll try to get together like a gameplay video so you can see how the deck works, operates, and you'll probably watch me get clapped every single time, but hopefully we'll make it entertaining for
You'll
you.
see the combo before the clap.
Yeah, it'll be great. Hopefully we'll pull off the whole Satellite Warrior thing, because that would be really good to do on camera. But
We've also got a few other decks that we're going to pull together. So I've got a Math Mech video that I'll be doing. I've also got some updated decks like Fluffles and Odd Eyes.
Yeah, everyone's favorite boy, Best Boy, got new Dark Lord support, and it's one of his favorite decks, so you'll be seeing one of those.
Yeah, so Shmal's going to put together Dark Lords. And have you got anything else for us? We've got Jeswin with his Gaia profile coming.
I might be doing an update to my Zulkin Hero thing. I'm just working on some of the kinks from that as well. So.
Yeah, is that using the new support like the Sublimation Knight and?
You can probably use Sublimation Knight and things, but I'm mainly using Fireflint Lady because it's a nice extender and things. Yeah.
Right, well, I look forward to that. So thanks for watching. Please remember, like, subscribe, let Tara know what you think of Speedroids, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you. Shh, not a zombie channel.